work. What's unique about the Summer Institute is the experience that we have when we're learning from one another. I've been to trainings where great information has been presented, but then I could never remember what that was because I didn't experience it. And this summer, I definitely, was given the opportunity to be constantly put in the students', eyes to experience it. So when I go into my classroom in September, not only am I going to remember the ideas and tools that we've used, but I'm also going to know the experience of how it felt going through that. And then another thing that I'm very grateful for is the connections that I've made with educators throughout the Hudson Valley who teach different subjects, but we still have that great connection and passion towards, just being a better teacher, person, writer, and beyond that.
Well, for me, the writing project has always been transformative, and so this is my second time being transformed, and I feel like I leave here a different person and a different educator. And it has been hands down the best experience in my educational career.
I would describe the Summer Institute more of a learning lab than a regular professional development workshop, because we participated in our learning 100% of the time. So we weren't just reading and discussing different approaches to writing and developing students' literacy. We were actually putting those practices to practical use in an authentic, for an authentic purpose. And along the way, I feel I've made friends for life.
It was worth coming over the bridge for 4 weeks, 4 times a day, from Poughkeepsie to New Paltz for this Summer Institute, because for me it was more of a paradigm shift with all the shifts happening in curriculum and testing. For me, I felt like I needed a shift back towards students, back towards listening to their voices, and that's something I wrote about. And so what I enjoyed about this summer was really the creativity, and from a number of the TIWs, how much kids, they're all kids, they want to learn, and they want to play, and they want to be pulled along on an adventure. I really enjoy the adventurous spirit of each of the teachers involved this summer, and so I take that back to my classroom. I really want it to be more student focused and more adventurous and more fun, because I think they can learn through the fun.
For me, the valuable aspect of the Hudson Valley Writing Project professional development model is the interactive nature that treats every voice in the room as a valuable resource. It honors where we all are and where we want to go and where we can go. And we approach professional development as learners, asking questions about our practice and seeking feedback from all of the fantastic educators that come to learn with us. And then student work guides our inquiry, and we help one another examine what our students do, how they were successful, and what we can do to support them to go just a little farther.
Well, first of all, I have reconnected to the power that lies in the written word this summer. I hope to continue writing and to use my voice to argue against all the injustice that I see taking place, both in the educational system and in the world at large. As far as professional development goes, most of it is people talking at us. This was truly teacher-centered and teacher-led. Everything that we did was relevant for all of us as writers, educators, and thinkers. There was no time wasted, and each day was rich and intellectually stimulating. We learned by doing, which people have already talked about, but it's so important. The Hudson Valley Writing Project recognizes that teachers must be students of their profession. The other aspect of this that was different is just the tremendous amount of respect that I have for everybody in this room. We were all willing to give up a month of our summer because we know how important teaching is.
What I love the most about this is that you have teachers from every venue. You have science teachers, you have administrators, And yet, even though I'm an elementary school teacher, I was able to take something from each teacher and glean something that I can bring back into my classroom, and I really appreciated that. I also like the fact that you just put yourself out there. You have a practice you use in your classroom, and you come to essentially strangers in the beginning, and you share your practice. You put it out there, and you're not asking for them to approve it. You're asking them to give you honest, critical feedback on what you do. And really, that's the whole point of that, is to benefit our children. So for me, that's the biggest thing. This is my 3rd year I've just completed, and I want to stay connected. I've made a lot, I made close friends. We are going to continue in writing areas. We're going to continue in reading areas. And again, getting back to the issue of support, that's one of the most valuable things I think that I've gotten out of this. And it's not driven from the top down. It's a community of supportive learners.
The Hudson Valley Writing Project was well worth the trip. It's the blending not only of who I am as an educator and learner and writer, but also as a mother, daughter, and friend. It's a place where I could blend into who I've been, who I am, and who I want to be. The idea of improving my instructional practice by exploring my writing has been very powerful and will continue to be powerful. I am a thinker, I'm a collaborator, I'm a leader, and I'm a learner. And that learning is contagious, and I'm just going to have to figure out how to stuff it a little bit so I don't overwhelm other people with everything that I learned this summer.
Hudson Valley Writing Project is unlike any professional development I've ever been a part of. Never before have I felt so supported and encouraged to develop my voice as a writer and an educator. More than being a professional development group, Hudson Valley Writing Project is a way of life and a way of thinking. The Summer Institute, designed and presented with teachers in mind, affirms and validates the knowledge of educators by encouraging us to think in new and innovative ways. As teacher consultants, we're not talking to, rather generating meaningful discourse with each other, sparking new ideas and ways to look and see.
Soaking in a hot spring in the cliffside pools of Ojo Caliente in New Mexico, I wondered why on earth I'd signed up for 4 weeks in a classroom with assignments and deadlines. Nevertheless, I purchased a notebook in the gift shop and sat on a porch swing every morning, writing a sentence or two to warm up. Then I found myself writing in the evenings too, and one day even returning to my room to grab the notebook for an afternoon. I felt better. I had plenty of starts and lots of beautiful pictures. Our first Monday, I dragged myself out of bed and drove to New Paltz. Be early, Bonnie had said. What am I doing, I thought as I drove across the Mid-Hudson Bridge. We sat up and settled down to writing into the day. Can I do this? Can I make my pen compose something worthwhile? Then we were off and running, and we never stopped. It was so refreshing to be with a group of interesting, supportive, dedicated teachers who value each other. We read, talked, and wrote about authentic learning, knowing our students, and creating meaningful, playful, yet rigorous work. We were not there to put ourselves on show, lecture, and convince everyone how great we were, even though we were great. We were there to inquire, to dig deep and validate our practices. And how deep we dug, dissecting community reads, delving into books, writing and rewriting diverse professional pieces, and creating our own poetry and prose. We were not confined to one space day in and day out. We visited a library, a museum, and the terrace for Visitors' Day, and we bonded with our writing group on the scroll to Mohawk Mountain House. Nor were we constrained by our own familiar experiences and talents. We stretched ourselves to go deeper digitally and engage in the powerful interaction of images and words, cheered on by Bonnie, who opened with one of her first efforts at digital storytelling and closed with her most recent, a celebration of HVWP, Happy, Venerated Writing People. We have become a new, unique cohort of colleagues and friends who will continue to support and strengthen each other in the effort to defend our schools against educational suicide. My hope is that we will be able to offer this transformational experience to new cohorts of hungry teachers.